All right, everybody, it's Chris Lilly with the LillyPod. I'm here with my very esteemed guest. In today's journeys into female empowerment, I have my betrothed, I believe we've jumped the broom, Alexandra Maria Alba. Or until you
Thank
get
you
bored
for
of
having me, Christopher.
Yeah, it's not Topher. The kids that tried to break into the house yesterday, one of them was named Topher. So I immediately hated him for that.
And for good reason. Topher is pretty awful. You've tried.
I tried Toph.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Tofi.
No.
Tofi Lyles. No. Because there's a lot of Chris Lillys out there. And, I'd like to say that I'm not really a dime store purchase. I'm unique in many facets. But my name leaves something to be desired, despite the pedigree, really, of my last name. Chris Lilly, sort of, it's like Five Guys burgers, but it's not, it's not a Michelin star burger of a name. But it's not.
Five Guys is good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's above average name for a far above average man, which would be me.
Who decides that?
Well, that's self-bestowed, I believe.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a break-in yesterday. Attempt, foiled, of course, by the heroic Christopher Lilly. You had just left to go grocery shopping. Grocery. Yes. By the way, I've realized I mispronounced this word. It's grocery. Your neighborhood grocer. It's not your neighborhood grocer. Or is it?
Who gives a shit? People have been saying grocery forever. Grocer? Like, who cares?
Okay, well,
Should I call you out for the stupid things you've done?
Oh, I don't think you're going to find more than 17.
How about one that kind of just covers all of them? You use the fucking toilet brush to clean out our ice chest.
I didn't know you couldn't do that.
How long have you been doing that?
It was the first time I've ever cleaned out an ice chest.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not
Weird.
I'm not a camper, really. So, and that was that time. I also use bleach to clean out the microwave. I think
that one is actually something that you're able.
Wait, so you have one on me. You got one. 10 years and you got one. And that's your all-encompassing? How often do you use a camping ice chest? We
weren't camping. We would go to the lake, take it with us. Duh. Anytime you have people over and have a barbecue, you have an ice chest.
Okay, well, I definitely fumbled that one. But I did not fumble the corralling of the perpetrators that tried to break in. Why'd you do that with your eyes just now?
I'm just waiting to hear
my segue?
Your heroic story for the 15th time.
Okay, so you had just gone to shop, and of course, as you want, you had forgotten something, so you immediately came back after leaving and jiggled the doorknob, got yourself in, and about 10 minutes later, I thought you had done this now for the second or third time. I'm like, oh, okay, well, she's trying to get in. Then I look out, your car's not there, and then I hear voices around the side of the house, follow that, and I see two little rascals, teenage boys looking in through the window. I was like, I don't recognize them, but I did recognize the potential for mischief. Certainly didn't realize it was going to be at this level. Maybe just kids looking in, or I don't know, gonna do something like soap the windows or something, or egg the house. It's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. on a fucking work day on a Friday, but because Three Forks is one of those schools that went down to 4 days a week to try to retain staff. Of course, anytime there's a mill open to help teacher retention by increasing staff salaries, the entire town, which is, of course, all about family values and community building and all that, they always vote it down because, fuck education, right? Okay, so getting off tangentially, but these kids are looking in, and I run to the other room to get either a combination of my shillelagh and a phone to document and or beat the shit out of these kids if they end up coming in, and the window breaks. The nearest item I have is your crutches from when you
last summer
blew up your plantar fasciitis. Is it plantar fascia? Yeah.
Yes.
and you were hopping around like Jason Tatum now. You don't understand that reference.
I don't. Yeah. So I'm not even going to pretend.
Boston Celtics superstar, cornball, and they've been eliminated because of his lack of presence because he ruptured his Achilles recently. We'll get maybe into some sports in a bit. I'm sure you're very excited for that segment.
I'm always excited for sports.
And I take off outside with gorilla intensity, which you've seen when I was sleepwalking once, and I thought you were an intruder. And we got actual intruders, and I took off both of them, after both of them, with like a hospital crutch. Can you imagine watching that? If you're the neighbor, giant guy, flat brim, Broncos hat.
The kids probably felt sorry for you.
In what way does that relate to my heroism?
Well, it doesn't relate to that necessarily. I'm just saying they probably felt bad for you and thought there was something wrong with you.
Anyway, the little fatty cakes kid, he took off, and I could have caught up to him, but I was worried about the other kid. They were doing like a distraction maneuver. I'm sure there's a military term for that. And we, have our new puppy, and she's prone to running away, and so I was like, I don't want to. Yeah, my thought process there was one of protection over my own safety, really, Alex. So I went to check, and I realized that the first kid wasn't that far away, and so I sort of like pursued him a little bit, yelling at him, saying that, I'm going to find out who he is, and I said, a variety of other threats, and he actually complied. And it's so weird. And came, and I sat him down and read the riot act, but basically I was kind of like channeling that former teacher vibe, like, what are you doing? Like, why did you think this was a good idea, kind of thing? Like, get your buddy over here too, and we'll discuss like how we can proceed. And he convinces his other buddy, little fatty cakes, to come back, who was a real piece of shit, and giving me shit about how he thought the place was abandoned because optically it does kind of look like a witch lives here, and I'm renovating the outsides, but I'm mid-process there. He then proceeded to say, no, really, it's abandoned, telling me my experience of living in my own house, because he had been in here before, years past, when he was even younger. This kid's probably like 13. And said that, no, I walked around in there, and I have him on, I'm recording him. And he's saying that he had done this before. Just complete dumb shit. Saying that not only, yes, did I got him to admit that he broke the window, attempted to come in, but he had done it before. I was just like, your cousin rolled on you, you're a shitbag, and you're maybe the stupidest kid in town. He's like, I live here. I'm like, well, then you should fucking know. You're breaking into a house in Montana. You're very liable to be shot. So you're lucky that you're standing here right now. And yeah, I'm not really a purveyor of the castle doctrine. They were summarily arrested, charged with criminal mischief. Would have been fully a breaking and entering if they weren't teenagers. But there was some symmetry with the fact that I'm now the 41-year-old doing basically a citizen's arrest on a 13, 14-year-old, which is exactly what happened to me when I was 13 and 14, and I got like approached by a security guard for smoking weed behind the main mall. And I like could have ran or not complied or just lied. But I completely like narked on myself. Like, yeah. This kid was shaking like a leaf. And I was gorilla angry, like I said, but
I think there's something to say about like small town kids like coming back and just dealing with it, which is really, really weird because in the city, those kids would have run and probably like thrown a rock at you too. Yeah. Like there's no way. Like you come back, fuck you. Like,
I remember in Phoenix, there were some teenagers that were clearly high and it was Halloween and they just came up to the door. They were just wearing like teenager bullshit apparel, like dressed like, homeless people basically. And just came up like, hey man, just trick or treat, just oozing out of their mouth. Like they didn't wear a costume, didn't give a fuck, had no spirit. And I was like, yeah, get out of here. Like I'm not you're too old to trick or treat. Like trick or treating cut off is 8th grade, unless you're chaperoning like your younger sibling or something. They just called me the N-word. I don't believe there was any vandalism that occurred after, but yeah, I'm a stupid.
You're a stupid.
You're a stupid. This, that, and the other. And and nobody says the N-word with that A ending more than Hispanic teenagers. Yeah, as a Latin person yourself of certain extraction, is this something you can confirm or deny?
I can confirm it, yes.
Yes. It's part of the parlance of the Phoenix.
Yes, I can. I won't elaborate, but yes, I can confirm.
Okay, so, yeah, they were just bad criminals. Middle of the morning, a Friday, workday, like, everybody works from home now.
Yeah, we have a corner lot.
Corner lot.
That's like very, I don't know, it seems kind of open. You can see when anybody is...
It's abandoned, is it? I got ladders on the side of the house. I got extension cords coming out of windows with cars in the driveway. I mean, yeah, like, it's been raining a lot, so I didn't mow the lawn. So kind of, yeah, it looked a little bummy. I think I was more offended that the kid was saying it was abandoned than they tried to break into my house. How could you say it's abandoned?
Yeah, we planted flowers.
Yeah, there was... Homeschool is now just shorthand for don't go to school.
That's correct.
I found out that the one kid, king dumb shit, from his cousin, who immediately rolled on him. I didn't break it, he did. There's no code. That kid did not stick to the code. I definitely corralled both of them in, and I was doing the whole, like, it's going to be easier if you just cooperate kind of.
Oh my God.
I know. I would be a bad good cop, or a good bad cop. I'm not sure which one. There's some overlap with teachers and cops with just that illusion of power and probably overreach a little. So, yeah, just fuck teenagers a little. But I definitely see the symmetry. So, I don't know. I mean, probably one of those kids is going to turn it around. That other kid, like if he's breaking and entering at 13, 17, he's robbing drug dealers.
Well, we talked about this a little bit, about the type of kid that he was and the probability that he has a really crappy home life. And, it's not an excuse, but, that's the result of your parents not giving too much of a shit or your parents being a fuck up themselves. So I feel bad in a way for them, but not as bad as I would feel if they came in and took something from me.
Yeah.
Or, if I was home and they scared the shit out of me, or if our daughter was home and...
I know, I was at first, a little scared, and then I realized, oh, these are little fucking kids, and sort of how dare they? And that was, maybe a top 3 angry of all time. I caught up with, a fast teenager immediately, and I'm, a big non-teenager. Swinging the fucking crutches around. Oh man! So why don't you give us your quick, a 2-paragraph, maybe 1-paragraph synopsis of who you are and why you're here on the LillyPod, this preeminent podcasting space.
Well, I'm here because I'm so blessed to be married to you, and I think you just needed a guest for your podcast. So out of desperation, you asked me to be on it.
I have 2 confirmations for future.
Oh, do you?
Correct. And about 10 maybes.
What about Rick?
Rick is I penciled him in as someone I'm targeting.
Okay. Your
crush, Rick.
Yes.
And why are you blushing right now?
I'm not blushing.
With the thought of having this gentleman, this septuagenarian in our home. Why would you be blushing, Alex?
I'm not blushing. I'm aware of the way my face feels when I blush, and it's not blushing right now.
Well, you're lying, because Rick is your crush.
Okay.
Rick is like my Salma Hayek is your Rick Ruoff.
Oh, no.
It's deep, it's long tenured, and it's not going on anywhere, and only getting better with age. Rick may be the male Salma Hayek, as far as...
He's not.
He was your phone, what do you call that?
My wallpaper.
Your wallpaper.
That was just a prank to see how you would react to it. Honestly, I knew that you would laugh, and I just wanted to make you laugh. Because I'm so funny.
Displayed. So, that was your life synopsis, that you have a crush on a man in his 70s?
No, you asked why, what is bringing me here to your podcast or whatever.
The podcast,
excuse me. And I answered your question.
Okay, so this is my second day of being a reluctant lawman. I know that there's a light above
showing you the respect that you deserve.
It just seems like this is more
dismissive
of a deposition than a chat between two lovers, really. One life standards, as it were. Anyway, I'll just fill it in. I kidnapped you in a bag to come to Montana to help me with this one life stand, starting in about 2021?
That's when we moved here.
Yeah. 4 years in Three Forks.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an adopted town for both of us. I grew up in the area, but typically not a typical life we have here, living in a 9-bedroom, 117-year-old house that teenagers are mistaking for abandoned.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. Oh.
Well, Three Forks, it's kind of like the 3 in Three Forks stands for third world.
Sometimes.
A little bit.
Like the time that the water was too brown to drink.
Yeah, like there was a boil order.
Didn't have water at school.
Kids just didn't have water. We've had active town lockdowns for double homicides, multiple cops killed in town, power outages, far more than you'd expect in a civilized society. And of course, the yearly white trash Mardi Gras called the Three Forks Rodeo.
Yeah. That's always...
I don't even want to be here this year. We live like a block from it. It's basically a 2-day festival where every cowboy from the entire state, in a state known for cowboys, comes, and it's an excuse for anyone under 21 to get dripping drunk with almost no consequences.
I kind of... As much as I hate it, I kind of enjoy it as well, because the amount of shit that we talk about everybody passing by, it kind of like gets something out of my system. Like, we always get angry, we always laugh, we always drink. Like, it's somewhat entertaining for us as well, unless somebody, damages the property.
Which they do almost every year, or go take a piss in the backyard, or worse.
Yes.
I have some friends in law enforcement around here, and they were proud to say that they've stamped out almost all sexual assaults and rapes at the event, but underage drinking and rampant countywide drinking and driving control, well, it remains kind of elusive.
Not surprised.
Yeah. Well, we had, just things you don't expect to happen here, like that boil order for the water. And I'm on a jog yesterday after the break-in attempt, and I had to climb a slot fence all of a sudden because I was chased by a rabid dog. So I'm like about to be eaten by a dog, and I had to climb this fence. And it was lucky because there's this portion of that trail where it's all barbed wire, and then there's like this one house with a fence. I was lucky to jump on that, and it was some sort of like rough wood. Now like I'm all bruised up and grated up from this wood, but I don't even remember climbing that. But I got away from the dog, and I'm like yelling at it, get away. And then I made some adjustments. I was in the shower, and I made some adjustments to make it a first world experience. So I have the curved shower rod, like you'd see at such establishments, like a Super 8, to get a little extra room there.
Yes, very classy.
I have the wand, the hand shower. What do you say there? What do you call it?
I don't know. It's a wand. No, it's not a wand. What is that?
It's a detachable shower head.
Yes.
And you can spray it on all your naughty bits. But I discovered something that I thought it would be a funny segment for us to discuss. This could go a lot of different ways based on how I prefaced what I'm about to say. But it has these different settings. And one is sort of massagey. But I turned up the heat because I noticed that where I was itchy from this wood, where I escaped with my life, really, I turned up the heat on that. And it was spraying all the itchy spots on my arms, and I was like, oh god, that is a feeling akin to sex, a non-sex like alignment, like almost euphoric. And it got me thinking, what else is there? I loved to hike a lot when we lived in Phoenix. One thing I would do on purpose on the shorter hikes on the hot days, I would not bring water because I liked the feeling of it was really stupid to drink water after a hot hike. But it was only an hour-long hike, and I kind of knew what I was doing, and it wasn't, like, too isolated. Yeah, I would have been Aerovac'd and got a $10,000 bill from Arizona Search and Rescue or something. But so that, I also went with hitting a game-winning shot. That's certainly
Really?
Yeah. I had 2 in my career.
Do you think about those often?
Occasionally. Well, men are kind of simple. And so sometimes...
You're kidding.
Yeah, thanks. Stared into that. Sometimes I'll just be sitting on the couch coming up with scenarios. Or like I can't get back to sleep and I'm like, oh, dude. I remember when I had 32, 11, and 7. That was... Okay, so game-winning shot. Beating a tough boss in a video game. It's pretty euphoric. That's akin to sex.
Really?
Yeah, when I was taking care of my mom, sometimes she would be, asleep for a little bit, and I'd have a chance to step away, and I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I had downloaded some extra content, of course, and I was playing the god of the underworld, Hades. He was very hard to beat. That, and then the Minotaur took me like hours. And I didn't adjust the difficulty setting, which would be a coward's way out, Alex. And I finally beat him, and I was like, yeah, eyes rolled back.
That's really lame. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I don't know what kind of orgasms men have, but how? No, that's stupid.
I would trade. Yeah, that's worth, you can't stack them on top like that. I don't know quite how it works, but that's akin to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then this is a little more sentimental, but getting an entire room to laugh, and you look around and people are just like, yeah, that was brilliant.
Huh.
This guy gets it.
So you like attention.
I think that's pretty clear by now. What do you think? What are some that come to mind for you?
When you, girls, mostly, unless you're somebody with a man bun, when you have your hair up all day in a tight ponytail.
Oh, sister, I get you.
You did have the man bun at some point. It was awful. It was just awful.
Why?
You didn't take care of your hair. Like, you would rarely brush it, and it was this, like, tangled mess, and then you would put it in this bun, and it just...
It's cultural, Alex.
What culture?
Lazy white guy.
That's accurate. I can't argue with you there. Yeah, taking down a ponytail at the end of the day, and then, like, scratching your scalp.
Was this the ponytail where you put a bow in it, like you were in Little Women that day, and I trashed you for it?
Women don't wear never seen like that. That's stupid.
It was definitely out of like Anna Karenina or some sort of like Victorian novel. The way you were dressed, you did your hair that day. I've never seen that look since then.
You're ridiculous. It was like cheerleader bow. It was a gigantic, oversized bow. You're talking about like this thin ribbon that women put in their hair. Like, just, you don't know, so don't talk. Yeah, taking down your ponytail when I wake up on the weekend and I get to casually have my coffee and there's a pastry. Like, it can be a muffin, that's fine. I would settle for a piece of toast, really. It's not a pastry, but some kind of bread item. And everybody leaves me alone. That's pretty good.
Your top 5 sex-adjacent feelings. And your second one is coffee and something crunchy alone.
You said a fucking video game, okay? So...
Hours of intense battle. My battle-hardened fingers and mind, really, soul, resulting in triumph. Versus, I get to scroll. What is it that you scroll? Probably Instagram with cat videos.
No.
Cats on treadmills.
No, Instagram is an evening scroll. It's not my morning scroll. If I can do my New York Times puzzles while I have my coffee, that's... You don't quite understand, because I usually have my coffee at work, and then I don't eat breakfast. So, weekday coffee is... rushed. I'm dealing with people. And so I don't really get to enjoy it, but don't laugh at me.
No, it reminds me of what Lewis did, Richard Lewis, on Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Larry, there was some sort of conversation about bathrooms, and Larry needed to use a bathroom at Richard Lewis's house. He's like, what about the one downstairs? And he's like, that's my weekend bathroom.
Yes. So... weekend coffee is far superior to weekday coffee.
Well, I have sort of a more fluid schedule, as you know, working pretty much all the time. So I don't have that distinction because I don't have that privilege. You know what I mean, Alex?
You don't have the privilege Of what?
Weekend coffee. The feeling
You're right, because you have weekend coffee every day. So of course. So of course you wouldn't understand that. Like a hardworking person that has to get up early and have their coffee on the go. It's something that you can't comprehend.
I feel knowing that you have to go to bed earlier than me and I have to stay up later just because my day schedule is different than yours. How does that make me feel?
I imagine amazing. You sleep in until whenever you want to. You play on your phone. You have your relaxing coffee while you play on your computer or do your Reddit, whatever things you do. And then you can casually start work at that time. You get to go to the gym. You could take a nap if you want to.
No napping.
Yes.
No napping.
Yes, you just told me recently that you took a nap with Boo Boo.
I can power nap. Yeah. Yeah. I'm recharging at that moment, Alex. It's a 10 to 12 minute.
What a luxury. Let me do that at work.
You know, they allow that in many Eastern Asian cultures.
However, we don't live there.
We're behind that. Yeah. Well, we do like kimchi.
True.
When are you going to make Korean fire chicken again?
The next time your ass can handle it.
That last one, oof. Burned me not once but twice. See.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You want it spicy.
Well, yeah. But you make it when you're like at a Thai restaurant or something and they have the spicy chart, you always have to always has to say, make it not like white people 3, like Thai person 3.
Yeah.
Because they just, I don't know. I feel like that's a form of racism that endures to this day. And we've really got to stamp that out. I mean, as a Caucasoid myself, I'm going to be endeavoring to change that, where the heat system at Thai restaurants is true across the board, and it's not handicapped for what the white palate can take. So a 1 fire is the same to a white person as it would be to somebody from, say, Bangkok.
But how do you do that? Because really, it has nothing to do with racism.
How do I fight injustice? Is that what you're asking?
There's no injustice. Like, they're adapting to, but yes, the environment that they're in here, like the Thai food we got last time.
It was 4 fire, which would be a 1 fire for a Thai person.
Well, yeah, it's because of...
Now, what you're seeing is injustice. I feel like I might have to get my markers and my sticks and my poster boards and my marching shoes. Dust off the old protest shirt, head out to Rice or Thai Spicy.
Thai Spicy?
What is it? Basil? The Thai Spicy is another one. It's a
basil. I would never go there again. The food is straight ass. The last place we went was Rice. It was okay. I'm picky about my pad thai. I really am. I've had it one place in Phoenix where it's perfect, and nobody else can live up to that, I guess.
Just as a quick aside, you did mention, now that we're in the culinary podcasting space right at the moment, that perhaps one of your best feelings adjacent to sex would be biting into a chile relleno. Correct,
Christopher. Any kind of chile with cheese, like those two things paired together, amazing. Jalapeno poppers, delicious. But specifically chile rellenos, when they have like the egg batter on the outside. It's my favorite meal. And so yeah, every time that I take a bite...
It's pretty mid, dude.
It's not.
That's like...
It's not. You will sit down and eat like a big
for a representative of American food being hot dogs instead of like a beautiful steak and twice baked potatoes and asparagus spears. Like,
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Ramen from a package being a representation of Asian food when you've got like so many other choices. Chile rellenos. I can't roll my R's when it starts.
It's not a double R.
Relleno. Say it again.
Relleno. There's no rolling.
Rellenos. Chili rellenos. That's how my mom would say it.
I can't believe you're judging me on that.
What
a delicious traditional dish. You asked me to get you chicken biscuit or whatever the hell those crackers are.
Chicken biscuit.
Disgusting. Those are just saltine crackers that are rolled around in bouillon powder.
See, Alex, I'm a man of variety. You know, you're somebody that can listen to, like, while you're cooking, the same 6 songs.
Oh, no.
And in order, 3 of them would be Selena, and 3 of them would be Juan Gabriel or Celine Dion.
Wow, you're really dumb. You really missed a big one. That's unfortunate. I don't know where you've been cooking, but...
Oh, Linda Ronstadt.
Thank you.
Or what's Dirty Hippie girl's name?
Which one?
All of them. Running around, dirty-footed white woman.
Joplin.
Janice, dirty-footed white woman, Joplin. Ugh.
Leave her alone.
She butchered Chris Christopherson's
Leave her alone.
magnum opus, really. R.I.P. to KK. Chris Christopherson. Did you really just do That's Enough?
Yeah, that's it.
On the Janis Joplin hate?
Yeah, leave her alone. Leave her alone. What?
I'm doing some, A-tier riffing here. What you should have done is trash me for having...
I could have. I just
Jimi Hendrix.
wanted to take the higher road,
Oh, so Michelle Obama over here. Well, when I go low, you go... Well... For some of our arguments, lower.
It's usually the way. But the thing is that somebody will listen to this,
Well, that's generous, but we'll see. We're trying.
There must be somebody.
Do you miss Boo Boo yet? We've been away from our precious fur baby. Don't you love that term?
No, I hate it. I think it's stupid. Because I've had an actual baby, so I can't compare having a human child.
Wait, you have a kid?
Shut up. I can't compare having a human child to having a pet. I can say that she has brought me more joy than I anticipated an animal ever doing.
Yeah, she's really cute. She's a fucking rascal, though.
Yes, she is. She is. She really pissed me off this morning.
What'd she do?
Well, it was a very short amount of time of being angry. I was just cleaning off her rubber mat and her dog bowls and refilling them with breakfast and water. And as soon as she saw me lean down, she pounced on me like she does with her front paws. And of course, all of the water in her bowl went everywhere. Then she just sits there and looks at you like, what? What?
I'm absolved of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating because she doesn't know, and she's 5 months old, so that's in dog years. She's like a 2-year-old, right? But by that time, toddlers kind of know about consequences and everything. I mean, she's starting to listen. I don't know if she even responds to her name yet, but you gave her the nice name, the epic name of Boo Boo Lubu. Yeah. What's the story there?
It's a Mexican pastry. It's kind of like a gansito, but I think is it like strawberry instead? It's not, it's something different. Gansito has like orange marmalade. It's really disgusting.
Uh-huh.
Boo Boo Lubu is something else.
Well, what other names were you going to go with? I
was going to tell you, I did want to name her Shusha. But that was downvoted. I don't know why. It's such a unique name.
Yeah, because that one, when I'm trying to fight off intruders, let's revisit that briefly. I did successfully. And, little Shusha gets out, and I'm going around town with my crutches and holding these two rapscallions by the ear around town, and we're going around looking for Shusha. Shusha!
Well, Shusha, Boo-Boo... That's better. First of all, who gives a shit what the town thinks? And, Shusha was cool.
Shusha. Cool. And what's Shusha? What is that?
She was a pop singer, for kids. She had these really cool, tall white boots. And then she would wear them with, pink, tights underneath and these little tiny shorts.
Sounds like a lucha libre. Luchador.
Not quite, but, the colors were bright.
Wasn't she, blonde hair, blue-eyed? Yeah. So why is she this, Latin pop star? She looks like she's from the band ABBA. There's some deep-seated racism in Latin America. Alex, you want to jump into that? Colorism? Marginalism of indigenous peoples, etc.? You want to?
I could comment, but I won't.
Why?
Because it's not a conversation that I want to have. Especially with you. When we
Search your heart. You know it to be true. Mexico's just as not just, but there's an adjacency racism for sure down there. Why is it anytime you turn on Televisa or TV Azteca, the only people on those shows of color that don't look like they're from, Frankfurt, Germany, are the maids. And all the main characters are whitexicans.
Are you asking me about that? Because I don't have an answer for you.
Can you give me, citing sources, a dissertation on why colorism exists on Spanish-speaking television?
No.
All right.
I can tell you that in our neighborhood growing up, the local high school, there were big fights between blacks and Latinos, Chicanos specifically. I don't know why, but yeah. And not just necessarily like gang fights either. It was just big brawls.
Are you sure you're not just discussing the plot to Blood In, Blood Out, the jail scene? Between La M.
No, I'm not.
And whatever the gang's called.
I'm not.
Delroy Lindo was heading that gang.
No. I'm not discussing that movie.
One of the best GoodBad movies of all time.
It's very long.
It's too long. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they didn't understand that they needed to pare down a 3-hour anthology of this multi-generational Chicano family from, Southern California into like a palatable hour and a half, drama that works narratively.
They thought it was as good as Titanic. The length is, I don't know. It's a very quotable movie. Very, very funny at times. I hate Miklo. Hate him. He's just so fucking corny.
Your favorite quote from that movie is the white cafeteria worker, Bob or something?
Big Al?
Big Al. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't serve the food to Miklo, who is the whitexican.
He serves
and he goes, sorry, no tortilla.
Why'd you give him that voice?
Because he's making fun of what he thinks Chicanos sound like or something. I don't know. What does he say?
He says, time for my brown brothers. Sorry, no tortilla.
It's terrible.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah. I'm not watching it for Guy Movie Saturdays. We should bust out like Terminator or something tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Are we doing Guy Movie?
Guy Movie Saturdays.
It was originally 90s movies on Saturdays.
Oh, was it Guy Movie Fridays and 90s movies Saturdays? We watched Twisters recently. The one with face guy.
Oh, the guy
Glenn
that you
something.
thought was so handsome, right?
Well, yeah, he looks like lab-grown handsome. And our kid just wants to be a contrarian and was like really, we're almost going to blows about how she saying he was ugly. I was like, I'm not saying I'm attracted to him. I'm just saying objectively that is one of the most beautiful people on planet Earth. Glenn Guy. He was also in Top Gun Maverick. I don't know.
You know his name now.
I'm a sponge for this shit. And I also do follow like pop culture. Like I know there's a major lawsuit going on right now between Blake Lively and a guy named Justin Baldoni about something that happened on the movie they were on last year. And like Taylor Swift's been involved now. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all very interesting.
So why am I the one that knows the pop culture stuff? And, typically that would be my blind spot, and then you would have the blind spot for sports, which is what you absolutely have. We were watching hockey the other night, and you asked me, how many chunks do they play?
Well, I didn't
Which
know what
chunk
to call
is this?
Because I can't call it, a quarter if it's not quarters.
Well, there's how many of them?
What?
In a hockey game, there's how many sections?
That's exactly my point.
Chunks,
is that I didn't know, so I asked you how many chunks of time.
I said it's periods.
Okay. Well,
it's like a play. It's 3 acts.
Did you know what I was asking you?
Okay, you made your point, but
in
a pretty ham-fisted, kind of cutesy way. It displays your blind spots. But, there are there's some sports knowledge there. You kind of take in NBA players' names latently, like when I'm watching the games, especially when the Suns were good and we were bandwagoning them. But you do have some nicknames. You call Draymond Green, you call him Donkey Guy, I believe. Luka Doncic is Luka Dung Kick, right? Is that the word? Yeah, you call him Dung Kick. The Denver Broncos guy, Denver Nuggets tall guy who's really good, but has like absolutely no muscle definition.
Oh, Jokic.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Nikola Jokic, I believe, would be the Serbian pronunciation.
Whatever.
Commonly. Then there was the guy who looks like he's from what band?
The Rage Against the Machine guy.
Rage Against the Machine guy. Looks like the Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah, he was like our nemesis after this one game.
Yeah. In that series a couple of years ago, Suns versus Pelicans, he was a problem. And then one of my favorite players, but it's sort of offensive, but it is true. He was a Phoenix Sun. He now plays for the thriving New York Knicks. Number 25, Mikal Bridges. And you said he looks what?
I remember being a kid and there was a police officer who was trapped in their vehicle. I think that's when the Crown Victoria vehicles were recalled, because I think that when you were rear-ended, they caught fire or some shit like that. And those were the cop cars at the time. And there was a police officer, sorry, very sad, okay, he caught fire. And his lips were very pink after that. The rest of him was melted. He had tiny holes for ears. He barely had eyes. But his lips were very pink. And so when I see Bridges, his lips also look very pink to me. And so I think he looks like a little bit of a burn victim.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So you don't have so much of a blind spot for sports. I thought I would see if you could expand and expound on your knowledge, halos of association with...
Yeah, get ready, folks. Chris is going to make Alex look stupid.
We'll start easy. What is a fast break?
Where you take a break from the game really quickly.
Oh, so like the terminology for breakfast, like breaking a fast? Like you're...
Yeah,
like fast
times.
You're doing the actual timeout motion with your hands there. Well, no, that's. And what sport would that be?
What was the word again?
Fast break. It's a term,
not a word. Fast break. Just gonna guess. Hockey.
You could say
you've been watching a lot of hockey lately.
You could say hockey, but it's mostly associated with basketball.
Well, excuse me.
Okay, how about this one? You would know this one. What's a Hail Mary?
A Hail Mary? It's what Aaron Rodgers did at the end of that game, where he threw it across the whole field and it won the game.
By throwing it? You won the game just by throwing it?
Yes. Yes, because then they got a touchdown.
Okay, so the act, you had to catch it, though.
Yes.
Why would they call it a Hail Mary? Don't you believe that's a little blasphemous? As somebody who grew up in the Catholic Church or something.
I don't believe in blasphemy. You're the one that believes in that. I think anything goes.
Correct. And so, in this house, in this Christian household, we won't be... I won't tolerate any forms of the following: blasphemy, miscegenation, and interracial kissing.
I guess I gotta leave.
Ooh.
No more kissing.
Oh, I thought it would be for the miscegenation. How about triple-double? What's a triple-double?
A triple-double. Is this a basketball?
You're thinking food.
Fuck you! Fuck you. You always got something to say about me.
It is basketball.
Okay, basketball. A triple-double. Somebody does something twice. No, somebody does something 3 times, and it's a double.
Yeah, you've got it. What would be the things that they're doing?
Is it a 2-pointer? Dribbling? I don't fucking know.
You get points for dribbling?
You're a dick. No, I know you don't get points for dribbling. See, I knew this was going to happen.
It's 2 pointers, yes.
Give me all these stupid
if you have enough 2 pointers, that counts for one of the categories. And if you get double digits of certain things, it adds. So if you get like 10 assists, 10 points, 10 rebounds.
I don't care. Just get to the next question. Like this is like me asking you, what kind of bird is that? Or what kind of flower is that? What kind of bird is that?
And what do I do? And what do I do?
I don't fucking know.
I'm like, you lived in Montana.
Why is that always...
No, I'm a damn, you think I know this kind of stuff?
That's for your beloved husband? That's...
Yes. When you
basically
make me
a
feel
drowning
stupid, when you make me feel
idiot.
stupid, I make you sound stupid.
Drowning idiot is what I would... All right, how about this one? What's a pick six?
Pick six. Pick six. 2 3-pointers?
You're fucking adorable. So that's basketball again?
Yes.
It's an interception return for a touchdown. So a pick is an interception and then 6 points for a touchdown. Pick six.
Well, excuse me.
Okay, let's do one a little more catered toward your cultural inclinations as a person of Latino heritage, specifically a Mexican extraction. What is a golden sombrero? And it's not a sex move.
A golden sombrero?
It's funny that you say sombrero, but then when it comes to, hey, what are we eating tonight? You'll be like, oh, we're eating tacos.
Oh, it's because you said it. You said it like that, and then I parroted you.
And we're going to have some quesadillas.
Anyway.
Chili relleno. Chile rellenos. Ay, pero tú no vas a entender la manera en que te amo. That is actually pretty good. That sounded Juan Gabriel-esque, one might say. What's a golden sombrero?
Does it have something to do with soccer? Football?
Why would you assume...
well, because you kind of led up to it. You said something to do with my culture. And so, you know, soccer. Football. I was like, I don't know. Is that when they bounce in the ball?
The national sport of any country that's had a coup or some sort of well, I guess the U.S. has had an assassination attempt recently too. But if you are in a country where they're painting on the walls the election options, soccer is probably the national sport. I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. Was I right?
Does
it have something to do with...
It's baseball. Oh. And it's when you typically have about 4 attempts to bat when you're baseballing, when you're hitting.
Yeah.
If you don't get any hits, you went 0 for 4. That's called the golden sombrero.
I thought that just meant you were out.
Well,
like that was it.
You'd be out every time because you struck out 4 times. And you have typically about 4 attempts to bat during a typical baseball game. That's all right. Well, how about one more? Because this is kind of dragging. What is the Montreal screw job?
So it has to do with hockey.
One might assume. However, in this case, no.
What?
Yeah. The old flip-a-rooney.
I don't know.
Can't posit even a
humor-based
guest.
Okay.
Guess.
Football. No.
Incorrect.
Yes?
Incorrect. It's more of a it's a sport insofar as that it involves a lot of physical activity, but it's also one of high drama and interesting storylines.
A sport with interesting storylines?
Yes, some of them are even predetermined.
What are you?
Here's your hint. If you smell.
Oh,
yeah.
Wrestling.
Ew. The Montreal Screwjob. Well, Alex. So this went down at Survivor Series 97 when Vince McMahon went into business for himself, calling for the bell mid-sharpshooter to screw Bret the Hitman Hart out of the WWF at the time. It's called WWF. His title in his home country, Canada. He was from Alberta, I believe, but this was in Montreal, the Survivor Series event. And the Hitman never tapped, It was a real-life double-cross that kayfabe couldn't contain, Alex. It turned into a working finish into a shoot, birthing the Mr. McMahon heel persona and sending Brett packing to WCW with nuclear heat and a legacy-defining screwjob in the books.
It's very informative, thank you. I'm sure that everybody wanted to know that.
I had that memorized.
Did you? Yuck.
Yeah. Yuck?
Oh.
So I'm not allowed to know about Blake Lively drama and what the Montreal Screwjob is? What you're saying is a Renaissance man of sorts.
You're allowed to like whatever you want to. There's just some things grosser than others.
Yeah, like naming your dog Shusha.
There's nothing gross about that.
Well, I do like Boo Boo. It's a cute name. She fits it. Were you saying at WinCo? Some judgy, like, old snatch had like a lot to say. That's another thing that you may have noticed. People in Montana don't keep their fucking mouths shut to any, like, just in general, to strangers. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. They have to kind of be told to shut up.
Yeah. Well,
and then they're like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry I offended you. Well, you said something offensive.
Because they've never been checked.
That's correct.
Yeah. And I'm from Montana, but I was away long enough where it wasn't like, it's not like baked in me. And so now that I'm back, I check people. Like, what does that mean? And then people like have to scramble to explain what their stupid comment meant or something. Yeah. All right. So what happened at WinCo? WinCo is a grocery store.
WinCo is a grocery store.
Grocery store.
Enough.
All right.
I didn't go to WinCo a lot when we were in Phoenix, but it's the most affordable one here. And I've had quite a few run-ins with some of the cashiers. There's one specific one that I will not get in her line, because she pushes the conveyor belt button until your items fall off of the belt. Uh-huh. And then when you call her out on it, she's like, oh, I have a bum leg. I'm like, bitch, I'll give you another bum leg. But this other woman the other day, she sees that I'm buying these dog treats for Boo Boo and says, oh, well, what's the name of your dog? And I said, Boo Boo. And I didn't want to elaborate on the Lou Boo because, then people are like, huh? And she was already like, huh? She's like, oh, well, a kid must have named that dog. And I'm like, no.
Why does everybody get to editorialize?
It's just like,
shut up.
Like, do your job, scan my groceries, tell me the total, and other than that, I don't need to interact with you. Like, I don't care. I don't want to. No,
You don't like kibitzing?
I don't.
I don't like kibitzing to the cashiers because they're saying the same thing over and over. And they're just going through the motions. Weather, how are you? You up to anything this weekend? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't like that question.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't care.
Yeah.
Just like I don't care what you're doing. Anyhow, no, I want to get in and out as fast as I can. And I don't care if I never see this person again. I would say normally I think about them never, but it's just I've had enough run-ins with some of the people there that, now I'm sitting here talking about them on your podcast. So when she said that, it like pissed me off a little bit. And I made this face to Tegan like, this fucking bitch is serious? Like, how fucking rude. And the guy behind Tegan also saw me do that and he had picked up on it and he just kind of smiled. But that wasn't a crazy interaction. There's a gentleman that works there, who doesn't have fingers. They give him the job of stocking, and this is the second time that I've seen him dropping cans. He wears these like rubber like grip things, and the last time I didn't want to make him feel bad about his disability or anything, so I was kind of like just letting him
languish.
And finally
I can't like, myself do it.
Exactly. I was like, do you need help? I didn't want him to feel bad. And I also didn't want him to have to ask for help,
right there.
Yeah.
And
so I asked if I could help, and he said, yes, please. And so I did help him. And then the next time I saw him doing the same job, having the same problem, and I was like, this poor guy probably does this every single day that he works, and I can't fucking be here to help you pick up the cans anymore. And so I just didn't go down that aisle at all, because I was like, I can't. It makes me feel really, really bad, and it makes me wonder why WinCo in Bozeman, you have this guy putting cans, of all things, cans, like on the shelves. I feel awful. I feel awful for
What
him.
would be an alternative? It's certainly not going to be
that is a really
putting in
good
vegetable
question.
codes.
That's a really good
into
question.
The keyboard.
Gosh, what's an alternative for Fred? I'm trying to like
You
go
could be
through.
jamming out in the carts in the parking lot, you know.
Oh, how awful though. I don't want to give him that job.
Okay.
Because it's awful collecting carts. I'm trying to think, like,
could.
what else? I mean, he could easily, you know.
Oh, you know what? He probably was in the butcher portion
Oh no!
of the store.
That's how we got
Yeah.
here. That's awful. I don't think so. But yeah, that's sad. And I'm like, what about boxes of things? Those you can, you know, grip with both of your hands and put them on the shelf. That's seems like a little bit easier. Dog food, easy. You know, if you don't have fingers, you could still pick up a big bag of dog food. Maybe he doesn't want to do that. I don't know. It is quite heavy. I don't know. It
Poor
just,
Fred.
I know. I feel bad.
I think it's cool that
bad.
he's working and he's not
Yeah, of course.
like with the sign out in front of WinCo like so many
Oh,
other
yeah.
people. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because it's low-hanging fruit and it's also kind of sad.
I was going to ask you, you know,
Oh, boy.
hero of Three Forks.
The Prince of Three Forks.
Yeah, how does this
Latino.
how does this make you feel? You know, like somebody asked you, you know, word had gotten around, I guess, to the sheriff's office that this was you know, something that you were able to handle on your
It did
own,
get out
and-
because the cop friend of mine had texted me unprovoked saying that like I'm like the Wyatt Earp of the Gallatin County Sheriff's.
Did he actually say Wyatt Earp?
I believe who was the one that was very touching back on the Rick, who has about a 15-foot tall mustache and looks like your guy from Sam Elliott. So I believe I might have been. There might have been a Sam Elliott reference amongst
Virgil?
Yeah. Ha ha, Virgil. So when those kids left to go get questioned, I really should have said what? The best quote from Tombstone.
Well,
Bye.
bye.
The coldest goodbye in the history after the Red Sashes in retribution for whatever. That movie is the perfect GoodBad movie, right?
Oh yeah.
It's leap years ahead of American Me or Blood In, Blood Out for GoodBad movies. My favorite GoodBad movie is Young Guns 2. Tombstone, it tries to be Unforgiven. It tries to be True Grit, and it's not. It's GoodBad. It's and your favorite guy from Titanic, Billy Zane, he's beautiful in that. Speaking of beautiful men. Anyway, what's his name? The head of the Red Sashes. They kill some of Wyatt Earp's guy, and there's a procession of funeral. His brother. Procession out of town. Oh, good, because Bill Pullman, who's the worst actor in Hollywood history. Game over, man! Game over! Stupid Twister. Speaking of Twisters, that's Twister 1. They call that the finger of God. Yeah, okay. Is it? F5. All right, I'm rambling. He says... The Red Sash guy to Bill Pullman's corpse, well, bye.
Yes.
Yeah. I should have said that to those kids.
First though, that guy's like, it smells like someone died.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucked up. That's really, yeah, that's awful.
I said
That's
some
awful.
similarly awful things to those kids yesterday. Things that are not uttered in polite company.
Yes.
Things that get people fired. I felt like I had carte blanche in that situation as a victim of a crime, briefly. And I really hope those kids spend this summer on a trail, making a trail, like for the Conservation Corps, like I did my summer. I had for community service. They gave me like heavy machinery well, not heavy machinery, like a pickaxe And one kid had, wasn't a chainsaw, but it was definitely something that would cut off a leg while we're making this trail. And I was out there like an Alabama chain gang.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I guess. If you,
I mean, like in terms of like making a kid, learn a lesson and make them do some heavy duty work.
I got busted like a year later though for some more bullshit. So it didn't quite do.
So it wasn't bad enough.
It wasn't quite enough. Yeah, it wasn't the. I don't know if it was that or I just like aged out of mischief. But I guess one of these kids is. Doesn't go to regular school because he can't stay in school. Nobody will have him. And so he's air quote homeschooled, which basically means no school. Really? You're homeschooled? Who's qualified in, pedagogy, lesson planning, chunking, as one of your words from earlier. What chunks, or basically just lesson building, but you're homeschooled, really? So you have the time. They were at the cafe. The one kid said they were at the cafe. And before they decided to break into the house. So they're just having a nice, biscuits and gravy. And hey, let's go commit crime. Let's go crime after this. Oh, I don't have homeschool, so, you've got the time to break into a abandoned looking building. So.
I know you think that homeschool always then like falls back on the parents, but there are a lot of homeschool programs now that are online. So,
it's called Assassin's Creed on Xbox and a porn addiction. All these boys.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That's you. That would be you.
I haven't touched Xbox in months while I try to build this podcast. Don't give me those eyes, you asshole. My browsing history is squeaky clean.
Yeah, when you use incognito all the time.
You're a fucking asshole. This is not out there for public consumption. All right? Besides, I go old school with my proclivities, yes.
Imagination.
I have a 1996 Tyra Banks Victoria's Secret catalog.
Do you really?
No, I used to cut out, like, I would make super, like, Ultra Woman. So it would be really quite... This is a study in, that stupid show you and Tegan watch that I can't handle where they're eating
Hannibal.
people. Hannibal, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like cut out Claudia Schiffer, whatever part, some Brazilian models like lips, Tyra Banks, something. I'm not going to get, and this was, I'm like 10, 11, 12, and I would stash that from the Victoria's Secret catalog. I had like all these super, like, like the Power Rangers would, assemble into one.
Oh my God.
This was, really sickening. And there was multiple versions of this, and I would stash them in the different parts, decorative elements in our living room. And one time I heard my sister's delightful screaming cackle. It was like, a Saturday, and everybody's like, oh my God. And Elisa's in there crying with laughter, howling with delight at this really orgy of evidence that they've discovered. I come out like, no.
Poor you.
I told you, you've discovered my crimes. My mom just goes, I'm just glad you're not gay. Like that was up for debate, like it was a jump ball. Like, wow, yeah, old school.
Yeah.
Homophobia. She wasn't bad like that. This is just the generation she grew up in.
Yeah. So how close does your wife fit the perfect woman? Transformer. I'm just kidding. I don't want to know. I was the leftover pieces that were thrown aside.
And then mashed together like when you're making Christmas cookies. Still tastes good though. It's just, it's not in the bell shape or the reindeer. Well, thanks for coming on, Alex. It's been a delight, having you really, really explain your role in today's modern world and how feminism is taking part.
What are you talking about?
And how, diversity and inclusion is definitely something that we still practice here at this address, at least. And, we're...
Perhaps one of these days we'll have a conversation that matters.
I believe those are the ones where I say, save it for the road trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, that's road trip chat is like deeper stuff that we need to discuss. It might be gossip or chisme, as your people say, that could be juicy and fill up many hours. Our recent road trip where a former coworker of yours from several jobs ago had some very juicy, salacious double life. God. And where were we going that day? Oh, we drove.
Picking up Boo Boo.
Yes. It was like an 8-hour round trip to go pick up the future Boo Boo, our beloved. And I'd say the first, probably 2/3 of it was like, okay, I needed to have you world build this gossip. And I needed to know all the characters, and I needed to know their motivations, and it needed, I was moving horizontally instead of vertically in that story. That was good. So
it was pretty good.
Did you ever hear what happened there?
No, and I haven't followed up on it either.
Can we give anything to our faithful listeners about what it was? It was just a woman being unfaithful.
It was a woman being unfaithful.
And the guy was like milquetoast, kind of refusing to have any agency or advocate for himself.
He was cuckolded.
I believe the term is cuckoldry.
Yes.
And the perpetrator was refusing to leave his wife for it was just, really your run-of-the-mill love triangle. But
yes, but when
really salacious and fun.
Yes, it was awful because this man, he couldn't. If he had found out, he had already threatened that he would commit suicide. So it was not, it was messy. It's messy. It is. I assume. I mean, I haven't followed up on it.
Well, you've been busy with your new nails machine, which was very interesting for you to explain to me this morning at length about why it worked or didn't work.
It's probably about as interesting as any of your sports talk that I mean
sports drama.
It's not a secret that I give zero shits about it.
Oh, you don't care where Kevin Durant ends up next season? You don't care about Bradley Beal's no trade clause, which tanked our window of winning a championship when we were 2 games from the championship?
Ask me how I feel about Devin Booker.
I mean, fondly, I would assume.
Yes, that's who I care about.
So your crushes run the gamut from mid-20s
which
NBA
feels
player.
weird. I will say that feels weird because when Devin Booker first started, I was like, oh,
yeah, he was very childish looking. Yeah. Well, he only played 1 year in college. Like he was drafted, I think, at age 17 or 18.
Yeah, very, very young. And then within I'd say probably the last 2 years, I was like, oh, he looked like a man. But still a little bit weird because he is quite young.
You have a parasocial relationship. There are certain corners of this grounds that I won't enter because I'm very worried I'm going to find some sort of sculpture made out of Idahoans or something with a little Devin Booker. You're an artist, so you've fashioned something out of some kiln that I don't know about, and mashed potato. You've made some sort of decorative element.
Potatoes.
I don't know. That kind of went off the rails there, but well, thanks for coming on, Alex. I've appreciated having you. You're probably very busy today on one of your coffee Saturdays, so I'll let you get back to that. Sitting and trying to find the bottom of Reddit, which spoiler alert, there is none.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of interesting things to say.
Yes, you do. You're the only one that has interesting things to say.
Let's end on that. And I'm going to put that at the beginning, middle, and just maybe interspersed between our transitional elements in this podcast. But thanks for coming on, and my hockey game's at 6 tonight, so I'll be watching it up here in Cloud City, probably.
Oh, you're going to your man cave tonight, are you?
It's more of a dwelling high in the mountains, like a guru would perhaps live in.
Lots of crumbs.
There are some crumbs about. Mm-hmm. It's typical for a person who has some time on their weekends to do a little tidying up.
Boo Boo's favorite places in the house are ones that you sit.
I frequent.
Yes.
Yeah. She dives into the couch cushions like a bobcat going through the snow looking for a mouse in the winter. Yeah. Well, she's a sweetie, and she's probably missing Papa and maybe Mama a little bit. So let's get
all right
back to her baby. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
See you around.
See you downstairs.
Yeah.
Mi vida te pertenece, te lo prometo. Con todo el corazón, solo seré para ti, para hoy y hasta el final de mi vida.